Alright, today I'm going to start building up a kiln over here, and I need to make the frame for some bricks, adobe bricks. And this is just some pieces of pallet, some pallet that I just cut using this reciprocating saw. They're all about the same length, and I think lengthwise that should be good, because I want my firebox really big so I can get a lot of fuel in there, and I want this kiln big too, so I can fill it up once and fire it once and be good for, you know, a month or so. So lengthwise I think it's good. I'm gonna have to cut one of these in half for width, maybe even more than half. But we'll see. I mean, the adobe bricks do not need to be fired. It's just to help build it up better. And then once I actually start a fire inside of it, they should harden up. But first part, get some wood, and I suggest pallets, or you use 2x4. And I'll keep some of this length so that I can just grab it and pull it up. I'll show you what that means in just. Alright, so it should look something like this when you're done. These are just so you can grab onto the sides and lift up and keep the brick there. I'm going to use this pathway of sand to lay the bricks down. Should be flat, should be somewhat sandy, or you should be able to put something down like a board or something like that that you can set these bricks onto and let them dry. So I'm just going to use this sandy area. I'm going to rake it up a little bit, clear it off, and then I'll use this for the adobe brick. Alright, so whenever you do this, you want to set it up where you have sand, clay, and straw, and a hole to mix it in. I'm going to dump it in here and just smush it around with my feet. Oh yeah, and you need water. So we got water, sand, clay, straw, feet, and we're going to be smushing it up over here. And you want to try and keep this pit close to where you're going to be laying it, so you don't have to move very far. And so we're going to be laying it down around all these, around all the sand, flat sand areas, as far as we can go, or as much as we can do in one day with the materials that we have. And let it dry out, and then we'll start stacking up a kiln. Alright, so we're going to dump the clay. There's already some sand in there. Dump the clay, dump the water. He's going to start mixing it. I'm going to go and get some more clay. And the amount of clay you're going to need is usually a one part clay, 1 part sand, 2 part straw. And he's just going to start stepping on that to mix it in with the sand. And then we'll toss in handfuls of straw as we go. See what that mixture looks like. Alright, so should start looking something like this. And with the help of my son, who is now recording this, we have made a good bit of cob mixture. Well, it's cob right now, but we're going to make adobe bricks, which is cob formed into a brick. And that is what we're going to use to make our kiln. But this is the basics of just getting a good mix. It's about the consistency you want it at. You want it to be able to still hold its form when you push down into it. You don't want it too mushy, or it'll take forever to dry. And you just want to find any of those clay clumps in there. Make sure they're broken down. It's hard for them to break down, just add a little bit more water to it. And then just keep adding handfuls of straw as you go. It should look something along these lines here. And then the next thing we're gonna do is my son, he's already cleared out a path for the sand. Go over closer to it. Should be flat. Should be clear of majority of the debris there. And all we're gonna do is go ahead and put that frame. All right, so what you wanna do with the frame is you wanna keep the frame wet every time you lay. Every time you lay a brick down, make sure the frame is wet, make it easier for it to come off. All right, so the frame is down. Make sure everything's kind of close together. Just grab a scoop of this. Hopefully that's enough, probably not. Flat it in there. And what I think I'll do is I'll probably fill up my wheelbarrow with this so I can just bring it over here. Make it a little bit easier, make sure you're patted down. Pat it all the way down, all the way on top. What you need is probably another stick or something like that you can just go over the top of it, make it nice and smooth. But do that later. This is just a general idea of what's supposed to get done, but ideally you'd like to make this as smooth as possible so that you can stack them accurately. But you also want to make it fast too. You gotta figure out a good way to do that. And alright, that works pretty good. And just set this right beside it. All of your cob mixture, set it right beside it. I'm gonna take this off. Come on. Set that right down there. And you can see where some of this is coming out the edge. So whenever you pull it out, don't wiggle it. I would just pull it straight up. Some of it pops off, it pops off. All right, and then you set up for the next one. Try and keep them as close as possible so you can stack as many as possible in the same session. All right, so done with that entire pit over there. I'll show you the results. All right, so as you can see, we've got maybe a dozen bricks, maybe not even that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12. Okay, yeah, 12 and a half. So this little bit of excess cob that I had left over, I'm just trying to make a half brick with it, because you probably will need half bricks whenever you're constructing them. And then same thing, just cooling it up. It's done. We'll let these, we'll let all this dry, and then we'll flip them. Once they're sturdy enough, we'll flip them onto their sides. And once we flip them onto their sides, they should dry a little bit better. And then we can start stacking them over here to make our kiln. We'll clear out this area a little bit more, make it nice and level, and then we'll start stacking these up. But as you can see, the walls, so if we're stacking these up, then the wall is going to be very well insulated. The kiln will be very well insulated with this adobe brick, because this is how thick it's going to be. That's maybe like 9.5, 10 inches. So that's about 9.5, 10 inches of insulation. So we should be able to reach some pretty high temperatures. And all we need to do really is make enough of these bricks that we can build up. All right, thanks for watching. That's how to make adobe bricks, and I'll be back for another video on how to actually make the kiln. All right, so it's been about 24 hours and they're now solid enough to flip, and this will help when they're on their sides like that, just dry a little bit quicker. We're just going to flip them all into their sides. So hopefully, ooh, that one doesn't feel solid. Oh, there it is. Hopefully it'll dry a little bit quicker. All right, so I've got some of these adobe bricks made, and what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stack them tall like this and make a box shaped kiln over here, so 2 wide, 2 long, and then in the middle here I'm gonna do a half brick on each side and make the box 1 wide by maybe 2 long, and hopefully that'll be enough to get a good amount of fuel into the firebox, and hopefully I can stack these up high enough to where it'll have a good draw and fire really well. So that's what I'm going to do now.